The more the world becomes complicated, the more urgently you must return to the clarity of your own mind, not to escape, but to see through the complexity itself. We live in a world where complexity is praised as wisdom and simplicity is mocked as naivety. A world of expert terminology, cognitive models, ideological narratives, and endless interpretations, most of which are not aimed at truth, but at directing your attention. What the ancients would have called delusion, we could now call mental dimness, or as the Greeks would say, Skotodyne. A foggy mental state where simplicity becomes suspicious and clarity is nearly forbidden. Skotodyne, Skotos is darkness in Greece, and dyne, as in English time, a unit of force that acting on a mass increases its velocity along the direction that it acts. So this is Skotodyne. Simplicity is not simplicity. Truth is not chaotic. It is not the privilege of experts, nor the domain of the initiated. In ancient Greek thought, truth is Mnemosyne, like in the Matrix, the movie. The goddess of memory. She is the mother of the muses, the source of inspiration and knowledge. Truth is something the soul remembers when it sees it clearly. Simplicity does not mean superficiality. It means discernment. It is the ability to look into the fog and recognize the first principle. This is true not because someone said so, but because my soul recognizes it like it recognizes the light. At the core of confusion, there is always a misreading of the obvious, and behind all manipulation lies the distortion of the simple. Skotodyne is a tool of power. People are bombarded daily with information, concepts, fears, and endless instructions. They don't want to convince you. They want to discourage you from thinking for yourself. How often have you heard, "You wouldn't understand. That's for the experts. You are not ready." Religious, political, and even scientific authorities often make you doubt your ability to know. But Greek philosophy says the opposite. The mind is not a privilege, it is the instrument of the soul. And your soul carries the power to recognize the agathon, the good, the right, the truth. You are not small. The most dangerous lie of our age is not theoretical, it's existential, that you are small. That ideas are too big and you are too weak. That truth is somewhere outside and you can only purchase it or be spoon-fed by someone above you. But that has never been the Greek stance. Plato, Plotinus, Epictetus all spoke of the divine spark within every human being, not as some weird magic, but as the inner potential for thought, creation, and self-direction. You were not born to be reduced, you were born to embody what is true. Consciousness creates reality. We are not passive observers of the world. When you think with clarity, your perception changes. And when perception changes, so does the reality you experience. Faith, not as a religious submission, but as inner certainty in the origin of every meaningful act. It turns I want into I am, and it aligns intention with energy. Conscious faith is freedom. Emotional faith is slavery. Mechanical faith is foolishness. George Gurdjieff. Freedom is not a political slogan. Freedom always begins with discernment, to distinguish the false from the genuine, the imposed from the lived, to recognize the fog and reject it out of understanding. Greek wisdom never said everyone is equal, it said every person carries something divine inside them, and that the mission of your life is not to submit, but to remember who you are. This reality, it's not something to just get through, it is something you are meant to transcend. The darker the world becomes, the more you must remember the clarity of your soul, like the secret poppy in Stratis Merivilis' novel, blooming red and silently amidst the chaos of war. For those unfamiliar, the secret poppy is a scene in the Greek novel Life in the Tomb by Stratis Merivilis. A single poppy blooms in the trenches of World War I, a symbol of the soul that blossoms even in the midst of death. It represents beauty, hope, and truth, surviving in a world of madness. This article is inspired by my upcoming book, which is going to be called Beyond Evil, a Greek handbook of freedom. It's a work dedicated to discernment, truth, and the dignity of being human. The book will be released first in Greek and later in English. Thank you very much. Bye.